Mr. Obvious is something of a joke figure that puts out ridiculous videos. Like, look, Trump surges ahead, Lil Wayne endorses Trump, Trump will win, all this kind of stuff. Anyway, we're not watching any of that today because we're going to watch this one. Scientists, and get ready. Okay, get ready for this one. This is really something. Scientists predict fall of Western society after COVID, OnlyFans, and incel apocalypse. Okay. That's a lot of words.
Scientists predict that birth rates will drop, people will stay single for longer, and women will sexualize themselves more. In other words, experts predict a thought and incel apocalypse.
This looks like the Daily Mail. Is this the Daily Mail? Daily Mail. Yeah, this is the Daily Mail. Look, this is it. This is it here. This is the article. Birth rates will drop. Yeah, this is the article. So, funny fact about the Daily Mail, okay? That Mr. Obvious is using here. Wikipedia bans the Daily Mail as unreliable source. I mean, this is speaking about the newspaper, right? This is about the newspaper. But even so, this gives you a bit of an idea of what kind of media organisation we're dealing with here.
Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, and today we're going to talk about the decline of Western society. You see, Western society has fallen, and so have our social norms, our prospects for the future. Things are actually not so good. And I saw this article.
Yeah, they always position it as Western society. It's like, yeah, capitalism sucks, right? But it's Western society, apparently. That is a neo-Nazi foghorn. Yeah, that's true.
Article today, along with a slew of other articles, and I believe they all show how our society is falling apart. I say there's going to be like a thought apocalypse, an incel apocalypse, to be fair. Men and women becoming single, turning to websites like OnlyFans to make money. And it's just bad for society. But I'm not the only one who thinks this, because this is something that's been happening for years. It's actually happening at a massive scale.
Okay, so what's the video title? So, scientists predict fall of Western society after COVID, OnlyFans, and incel apocalypse. Should we have a quick look at the article? I've got the archives article here. Let's have a quick look at this. What nonsense this is. Incel Apocalypse, my favourite grindcore band. So, a multidisciplinary team of experts reviewed 90 studies to make their forecasts. Psychological fallout from the pandemic will cause birth rates to drop, people to stay single for longer, and women to sexualise themselves more, experts have predicted. Look, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick this in chat, okay? If anyone wants to have a quick look at it, and give me any insights into what the deal with it is, so we can just keep watching the video, okay? Just have a quick look through. Is it legit? Is it not legit? And just, you know.
So we're going to talk about all of that and more. But before we do, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit the bell button for notifications for more content. And if you like this video, please share this video online. So take a look at this. Here on the Daily Mail, birth rates will drop, people will stay single for longer, women will sexualize themselves more. Scientists predict how society will change in a post-COVID world. A multidisciplinary team of experts reviewed 90 studies to make their forecast. So this isn't just something that scientists are saying. They're saying this based on a bunch of studies, and I believe perfectly reflects our world. For example, I find it very interesting they say that people will stay single for longer. A lot of people have been talking about the incel phenomena. Involuntary celibates. Men who are single virgins who don't want to be virgins but have no choice. In a society where hookup culture is the norm, where Tinder is the norm, women are definitely sexualizing themselves more and more, and yet less and less men have any partners. Then you have things like OnlyFans, where women go to make money online, or Twitch, e-girls, and then you have the simps,
Oh, Sorrel, you're such a legend. You're reading the paper.
An incel is someone who's a virgin and doesn't want to be. And a lot of people have been talking about the incel phenomena. Involuntary celibates. Men who are single virgins who don't want to be virgins but have no choice. In a society where hookup culture is the norm, where...
Okay, right. I have actually been keeping an eye. Okay? I've been keeping a little eye on incels, right? Here's the truth. What's this? You've got the study, you legend. It's just Evo Psych nonsense. Is it? Wait, is Evo Psych good or bad? Chat, tell me. Evo Psych, yay or nay? Okay, you figured that one out. It's shite, okay. So basically, he's presenting it as scientists, and it's actually evolutionary psychology. Okay. Anyway, look, forget that for a second, okay? Let me tell you a bit about incels. Listen. Incels are a bunch of critically depressed dudes. And there are complicated intersections that can have a tangible, significant impact on their ability to get laid, right? So, for example, right, did you know that a lot of incels are not white? I've not watched it yet. I still need to watch it. A lot of incels aren't even white, right? Because of the way... Okay, so for example, I don't know if I want to say the name. It's a bit yikes. But there are incels of Indian descent, right? And in our societies here, right? Men of Indian descent struggle with dating because of preconceived notions of Indian men being like perverts. You know the Bobs and Vagine? But the Bobs and Vagine meme has unironically set back men of Indian descent, right, by about 50 years. Because that spread this idea that they're all dirty perverts that want to see a Bobs and Vagine. Right? It's like it's fucked up. Like, these dudes, it's terrible. It's a terrible thing. Like, these dudes need fucking help. Excuse me. A lot of internalized racism of men thinking they're ugly because they're not white. Yeah, that's part of it. But there's other issues too. Like, there is, who has heard the thing of a woman saying, "Oh, I wouldn't sleep with X race. I wouldn't date X race." Do you know what I mean? Mucho texter of tweets. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. It's shit. It's shit. It's just the whole thing of incels. It's just another example of our system fucking people over, right? That's all it is. It's sad. And the thing is, though, is like they get used as props by people like this. No one would ever admit that out loud. Incorrect. I've spoken to women at parties that have said they wouldn't sleep with certain races and stuff like that. Like, you know, it's bad. Men do it too. Don't forget, men do it too, right? But broadly speaking, very broadly speaking, a man from like a marginalised background is on the balance of things probably going to find it harder to date and to fuck than a woman from a marginalised background. Very broadly speaking, you know. Anyway, the point I'm making is like, I don't know. Inceldom is just a fucking black hole of depression. Like, fucking hell. They just get used by these people to push these fucking ideas.
Gender is the norm. Women are definitely sexualizing themselves more and more, and yet less and less men have any partners. Then you have things like OnlyFans, where women go to make money online, or Twitch, e-girls, and then you have the simps. You know, an incel is someone who's a virgin and doesn't want to be, and a simp is someone who basically...
When he said it, then you have the simps. That reminds me of a Davis Arini line. Who knows the one I'm talking about? The Davis Arini line. And then you have the... You know what I'm talking about, right?
They worship women who don't necessarily deserve it, and they give them money online. All of this is correlated. It's all connected. So I want to show you a few stories here. For example, this other story by the Daily Mail. Police report reveals home invaders armed with Uzis stole $100,000 in jewelry from OnlyFans star who opened fire on them before her husband grabbed the gun and let loose on the fleeing car. I want you to pay very close attention to this headline. OnlyFans star.
You can go for long periods in your life without getting anything and having no partner and be happy. 90% of inceldom is just being tortured by a culture that makes an imperative where there is none. That's a really great way of putting it, and that's exactly right. Not only does the evidence cited here come from work in germ-free mice, not humans, we are given no evidence that reduced social activity to deprive humans of their normal biota. So, Zarel, are you saying this is total nonsense, basically? That everything this video hinges on is complete nonsense from the sounds of it?
Got invaded by burglars.
Wait, listen. This dude went out with his own money and purchased a physical horn to honk. Listen.
OnlyFans star who opened fire on them before her husband grabbed the gun and let loose on the fleeing car. I want you to pay very close attention to this headline. OnlyFans star got invaded.
It's all horseshit. It's an awful paper, even for evolutionary psychology. Did you hear that though? He's got a little clown horn that he uses.
By burglars with an Uzi, who stole $100,000 in jewelry before her husband grabbed a gun on the fleeing car. There's a lot to break down there. OnlyFans star. That idea is, in my opinion, absolutely horrible. I'll explain why. We are currently living in a society where men are single involuntarily. They want a girlfriend, maybe they want a wife, they want a family, but women are just not dating them. Think about this.
Okay, no one is entitled to like a date, right? No one is entitled. And that point made earlier of like we're kind of like socialized to feel like we need these We need to have these relationships, and it leads people to be desperate for these connections. It's very complicated. It is very complicated. The thing is, you're not entitled. Okay, you're not entitled to someone else's like time, right? Like no one is entitled to have someone go on a date with them. It does raise the question of what do we do? How do we deal with people who for whatever reason are unable to date, who crave that human companionship? I don't know. It's complicated. What's the solution? I think you need government-run workshops to help people be able to speak to women and not come across like a weirdo. That's what you need. We need the government to provide public... What? That was a conversation that happened recently. Delegitimize sex work. Destigmatize sex work. You do have a problem there, though, because whilst, of course, like, you know, for me, sex work is like any other labour that someone engages in, right? You know, in a society, let's say we have a society where things get decommodified, right? Let's say we live under communism. We live in a moneyless society. We live in a classless society. How would sex work? What do we do about people that can't get laid? It's a very complicated issue, right? You can't pay a sex worker within a moneyless society. There wouldn't there would be no such thing as sex work, right? Well, you make a joke about that, Boulder, but this was a big topic of conversation, and it was very difficult, and we're not going to get into the discourse now. Individualism applied to incels. Shouldn't this guy be blaming the incels here? Well, this is... Someone in chat brought this up earlier, right? These people... okay, here's the thing, right? Everyone's like material analysis ends at people they find to be icky, right? So for Nazis, they will talk about the plight of the white man and how bad things are for white people. But when faced with a 1350 stat, they'll say it's because there's something inherently bad that causes black people to be overrepresented in crime statistics, right? On the other hand, you got some like woke libs who will say, oh, well, black people commit crime at a disproportionate rate because of their socioeconomic circumstances. But when it comes to incels, oh no, there's something inherently bad about men that leads them to be incels. So everyone engages in this. They will, do the socioeconomic stuff until it gets to a group of people that they just think are icky. And the consistent position is to accept that everyone... this applies to everyone, right? And also, it's important to note that just because someone shares the identity of like the oppressor class and maybe benefits from privilege to some degree, it doesn't mean that they're not struggling or suffering either, right? That's another important point to make. Anyway, come on, let's watch this video. Sorry, we're going off on all sorts of tangents.
Mother had an OnlyFans account where she posts lewd photos of her body and herself to make money. And an army of simps and incels are giving her that money. So much so that she can afford fancy jewelry. And she's not a single mom. She's actually married. In my opinion, her husband is a cuck. Basically... someone who allows their woman to post lewd photos online for other men? This...
Okay, listen. Here's the truth, okay? Here's the truth. Who here thinks that this dude, Mr. Obvious, consumes pornography to some degree? Does Mr. Obvious consume pornography to some degree? Of course he does. There's no doubt about it, right? I imagine Mr. Obvious logging on to porno.com, right? Whatever video. So, here's my point, right? Now listen, I don't know if this is for true with Mr. Obvious, but I will broadly make the statement, which is this. There's people out there who will happily consume pornography that's been made by the porn industry, right? And not like Pornhub or whatever, yeah? They'll happily consume that. But if it's a girl on OnlyFans, they are very critical of that. Now, I'm critical of OnlyFans for different reasons, right? Like, I think OnlyFans is like another example of the gig economy. The median amount of money that women make on OnlyFans is in my opinion doesn't justify the way that what is clearly like an OnlyFans backed push for girls to get onto OnlyFans, like, it's kind of like, Uber drivers and stuff. There's sometimes like a push, become an Uber driver, become part of the gig economy, manage your own hours, blah blah blah. And it's a lot of bullshit, right? And you end up doing an Uber job and it's fucking shit, to put it simply. You don't have any rights, you don't have a contract, okay? And you're totally reliant on the business that comes in to feed yourself. It's the same. It's a similar. It's a similar model with OnlyFans. Yeah, it's a similar model with OnlyFans. So OnlyFans obviously want as many people on their website, setting stuff up. So it's like, whilst of course I'm supportive of anyone doing whatever they want, right? That's cool. Like, I just think it's a bit sus. Like, I get a bit sus when you see all these OnlyFans girls posting on Twitter, oh, I bought a house with my OnlyFans money. I'm just a bit like, okay, good for you, but like, why are you posting about this on Twitter? You know? Is this you, of your own accord, going, hey, this is cool, I'm going to talk about this? Or is there something else going on? What influence is OnlyFans having on this? Like, it's almost like an advertisement for setting up an OnlyFans account. Do you see what I mean? So the point is like, I would be critical of OnlyFans from the perspective of it being like a gig economy job. So I'd be critical of streaming in the same way, or whatever, yeah? Or Uber, or a fucking like Uber Eats, yeah? Same thing. So I do think there's criticisms to be had, but my criticism will always be at the system rather than the individuals. The reason that Mr. Obvious will critique the OnlyFans girls, and it's important to know he critiques the girls, whilst consuming, undoubtedly, yes, dishonest because most creators will not achieve that success. The House Post frames it as a meritocracy. Exactly my point. You've nailed it. Exactly what I'm trying to say. But the reason that like people like this will be happy to jerk it to porn somewhere else, right? But then on the other hand, will be critical of not only fans as a system, as a structure, but of OnlyFans girls, is because he doesn't like the idea of women having that bodily autonomy to sell their own sexuality, yeah? Does that make sense? So that's important, is that you could be critical, yeah, it's having the branding hanging over them, like delivery restaurants that hate having to use delivery but still have to post about delivery constantly. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's okay to be critical of the system that exists, the market that exists, but, you know, you've got to avoid that individual critique. But obviously in this case, he's just going after the individual, right? That's the issue. Wait, hang on, I didn't mean to block that message. Yeah, basically what they want is someone, yeah, it's like they want someone decent in inverted commas on the outside and, you know, whatever. Anyway, sorry, I'm going off on so many different tangents here. Let's continue.
Is our society. So when scientists say that our post-COVID world's going to have lower birth rates, people are going to be single, and women are going to sexualize themselves more, I don't know what to say. Other than, yeah, gee, you think? Now we're going to talk about this, folks, because I got a few stories to show you and a few things to show you as we kind of go through this. But before we do, a quick word from our sponsor.
Howdy, partner. The Brave browser protects your privacy and gets you back in the saddle, making it safe.
What the hell's this?
To surf the web again, ad-free. Even Vladimir Putin probably uses it. If you do choose to see ads, you get paid for your attention in cryptocurrency. If you're still using YouTube on Google Chrome...
you get paid in cryptocurrency? This is like a libertarian's dream, isn't it?
Then my pet horse is laughing at you. Don't let the stallions of Silicon Valley spy on you and mount you like a prize pony. Download Brave by clicking on the link down below.
And
it's funny how they can only get these like weird, obscure, VPNs.
We're back, so let's just get into this, folks. Here's what they say. Experts from the United States reviewed 90 studies to help them predict how COVID-19 could shift social behaviors and gender norms, even among those not infected. They expect planned pregnancies to decrease in response to the global health crisis as people defer marriage and kids, leading some nations' populations...
Hang on, wait. Zarel makes a really good point. He bashes OnlyFans and then uses photos of models, like glamour models and whatnot. Wait, what? That's a contradiction. Again, it's okay to use glamour models because, broadly speaking, men are in control of that, right? Men are in control of women's sexuality when it comes to glamour models. So it's okay to use those, right? But if it's a woman who, has got broadly control over their own thing, it's a different story. That's such a good point.
To shrink. Drops in birth rates will have a cascading impact on society and economics, affecting such things as job opportunities and support for elderly populations. Now, one of the things I need to point out here is that Western society has been on this trend for a long time. As the economy has gotten worse, the birth rate has been plummeting in developed Western countries. As marriage has lessened and divorce has increased, the family unit has been breaking down. Now, many left-wing groups, like feminists or progressives, have stated in their teachings that one of the things they wanted to do was destroy the nuclear family. Mom, pop, kids, a dog, a house. Because to them, it's...
Gonna need a source on that one. What is he talking about? Left-wing teachings, feminism, destroying the nuclear family. Yeah, favourite left-wing group, feminists and progressives. They want to destroy children. I don't know. Their teachings, yeah, I know. What is this?
It's patriarchy and oppression. We have all of these factors that are destroying families, encouraging women to get divorced, to destroy men's lives, to destroy their children's lives for, alimony, divorce settlements, child support, all of this. And increasingly, we have a situation where women are getting away with a lot of things. And you know what? Sometimes it just does not happen. I want to show you this other story. This is a picture of a man and his wife. They have 2 daughters, I believe, 2 children. This man, he discovered that his wife was cheating on him. And in response, he murdered her after he found out. And he posted a chilling video on social media about why he did it. Now, what I find interesting is that a lot of people are responding to this story saying, he was horrible, he was probably abused.
Can I just remind you, scientists predict fall of Western society after COVID-only fans and incel apocalypse. Like, where are the scientists that are talking about this? This is obscenely unscientific.
How could he take the mother from the children? Nobody's talking about how she cheated on him. Look, what he did was wrong. What he did was horrible. We can all agree murder is wrong. But can we also cut the nonsense and have an honest conversation? If a man has a family and he does everything right, pays for everything, he supports his family, he works hard, he's never abusive, he never hurts his wife, he's always good, he buys her flowers, he takes care of the children, he helps out around the house. If a man does everything right and a woman cheats on him, who loses in that scenario? It's not the woman, because the woman can say, I want a divorce. And guess what? Not only is she going to get the children, custody of the children, because in 90% of cases, the judge will just give the children to the mother. That man is going to lose his house. He's going to lose half of his assets. And then for the rest of his life, he will be forced to pay child support and alimony. All to a woman who cheated on him. Think about that. Is that fair to you? No, I'm sure that many women out there...
To clarify, you absolutely do not need to hand it to wife murderers, okay? Just for clarity there. No matter what, no matter which way you slice it, okay? No matter what unfair scenario might occur if the wife cheats on you, whatever, the courts, stuff like that. I'm going to be realistic here. I do not think my system of morality that I use to determine what's cool and what's not, okay? I do not think that murdering someone for cheating on you is an appropriate response. Maybe that makes me a cuck, soy boy, beta male, okay? But that is my position. You shouldn't murder someone because they cheat on you. That is pretty spicy. Because the thing is, if someone cheats on you, and I speak as someone that has been cheated on in the past, okay? A long time ago now, many years ago when I was younger, I've been cheated on. It hurts, it's painful, it's horrible. But guess what? You get over it. You do get over it. You live your life, you get on with it, okay? If you murder someone, there's an unfortunate outcome of that, which is the person you've murdered is dead. Okay, so There's no coming back from that. There's no recovering from that. They are forever cancelled. They are forever gone. That's it. It's done. Forget about it. So, any sentence uttered in defense of someone like this is just ridiculous. And I'm sorry, the whole... Oh, and again, we've made... This is making a lot of insults about, like... Sorry, a lot of presumptions about this dude and what was going on. Like, who knows? I think the best you can argue... What is it they have? Is it a crime of passion? Is that what they call it? Is it crime of passion? That's the best legal defense you've got there. Okay? That's it. Other than that, I'm sorry, but you have committed a morally reprehensible act. Like, it's simple as that. I don't know how else to put it. Imagine standing up for a murderer. Well, again, this speaks to his system, his ideas of, like, essentially a woman being the property of the man, right?
Love this. They love the idea that they can cheat on their husbands, divorce them, take all this free money, and then find some other Chad. It's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting and horrific, and the real loser in marriage today are men. Why would anyone want to get married? So when the only option for a man who has a cheating wife is to get divorced and get screwed over royally and have his life destroyed when he did everything right. Now, I'm not saying this guy did everything right. I don't know. Nobody knows. What I am saying is that I'm not surprised by this story. If you only have two options, either your life gets destroyed or you destroy your own life, I guess that's a toss-up, you know?
But why is he making all these presumptions about their situation? Who knows what their circumstances is? You have no choice but to murder. Oh, what even is this anymore? This is taking a very dark turn. This is taking something of a dark turn. Okay, let's continue anyway.
I'm not saying it like, look, it's horrible. This is a horrible story. These daughters have lost their mother. Yes, it's bad. And so, this is what happened. You hear these stories all the time. It's not just men. If a woman finds out her husband is cheating, there has been stories where she will murder the man or vice versa. It has happened. But the real story here, the real problem, is that all of this is a symptom of a bigger problem. It's not COVID that's causing the birth rates and all this to happen. What's causing it is the decay of Western society. We live in a world that's increasingly degenerate. And when I say degenerate, I mean it in a very literal term. Degeneration. Things are degrading. Things are falling apart. Things are crumbling. When I say degenerate, I don't mean like, oh, that guy, he had a drink, and drinking is degenerate. We've got to ban all drinking. No, I'm not saying it like that, like a Puritan. I'm saying it in a more literal sense. These things are bad for society. So the article continues here. The unequal division...
Hey! You won't be disappointed. Mondian, thanks so much for the sub. I really appreciate that.
Save Western society, Chud. I'm counting on you.
If there's anyone that's going to save Western society, it's me, your boy, Chud Logic. The most influential British streamer out there. Okay? Hey, if you want to get the lady to say something, don't forget to sub as well, okay? Gift a sub if you want. Be the first gifted sub for the week. Why not? Push the boat out. But yeah, this is very strange. You know, it costs you nothing to just not defend a murderer. You can just not defend a murderer, right? What a wimp. Why can't he just say the J word? Influential. Yeah, this is taking a dark turn, and now we're moving into like literal alt-right rhetoric, talking about the fall of civilization and all this kind of stuff.
Of the extra household labor brought by the lockdown could see gender inequality rise and foster more social conservatism. That's very interesting. That's a good thing in my opinion. In many ways, the researchers noted the pandemic has become a worldwide social experiment the results of which have yet to finish playing out. So they're drawing from economics, from evolutionary biology, medicine, neuroscience, and they're saying that COVID-19 is going to have all of these effects. I think it's more than that. I think it's unbridled feminism, unbridled liberation for women and men who have been increasingly...
So he's taking this study, which we've, obviously people have looked at, and it's just like... It's not particularly credible. But then he's adding on all this other stuff on top of it as well. Talking about like... Oh, I just don't know. It's wild to me. It's totally wild to me that he's just like adding on, it's the fall of Western civilization, there's feminism's at fault. Oh, so we need more social conservatism. Oh yeah, yeah, of course. That's exact. In fact, he is probably one of the head theorists of Pole, I'd say. He's one of their top posters, I'd imagine.
Feminized and beaten down by society. Modern society treats men like trash. I posted a meme the other day, and in that meme it was a Titanic, and when the Titanic sank, who did they take? Did they take everyone equally? Did they take the youngest? No. It was women and children, and men stayed behind to die. Yeah, it's so great being a man, isn't it? And yet...
So, it's bad being a man because on the Titanic... Because on the Titanic, they had an outdated policy where you had to have women and children off first because of expectations of men and whatnot. Like, yeah, it's like it's now over 100 years. Yeah. Hey, Lord Fortuitous, thanks so much for the gifted sub. Very much appreciated. Bad Bite MCK, enjoy the sub. And you've been hanging around a bit recently, Bad Bite. Won't anyone think of the men? The thing is, right, what's funny about this is there are genuinely issues that you can point to that men do face in society, right? That like are issues that need to maybe be addressed. Why would you draw on the Titanic? Why would you bring up the Titanic and all this? It's ridiculous. There's plenty of other things there's a few things actually you should talk about. Why'd you bring the Titanic? Oh, we've got it bad because the Titanic sunk 100 years ago and men had to stay behind. Yeah, he's not even doing like the family court meme. Yeah, use the custody argument. You could even talk about something like male suicide rates, which are a genuine like concern, an issue, and it speaks to how even though women are diagnosed at a higher rate, men commit suicide more, and it speaks to like a real issue of like men being able to like seek help for their mental health issues. That's a genuine thing, and there's people out there that are trying to fix it. Why would you point to the Titanic? Yeah, this is literally the dumbest meme. It's such a weird thing that you would point to the Titanic. Jesus Christ.
Men are constantly demonized. Like in that story about the man who murdered his wife. No one felt sympathy for him. Everyone said he was wrong. He was.
Why did no one feel sympathy for the murderer? Why did no one feel sympathy for the man that murdered the mother of his own children? Why didn't anyone feel bad for the domestic murderer?
It's wrong. But my point is, nobody cared that his wife cheated on him. Nobody cared. That's the society we live in.
Yeah, because he murdered her. Guess what? Okay, hey, listen, right? If your wife cheats on you, okay, and you don't murder her, people are going to be sympathetic towards you, okay? People are going to be like, oh, it really sucks that your wife cheated on you. I'm sorry that happened. Like let's come round. We'll go for a beer. When I've split up with someone, right? Or even when someone split up with me, let alone when someone cheated on me in the past. You have friends that generally will be like, hey, let's go for a beer and talk about it. It sucks that happened. I'm sorry that you went through that. It's almost like murder's seen as bad in society. Yeah, I'm sorry, but on the scale of things, right, cheating on someone is like a 2 or a 3, okay, in terms of how bad things are out of 10. Murder is like a 9, okay? Murder is a 9. Cheating on someone is a 3, murder is a 9. So if you've got murder in the story, people are going to focus on that because it's a little bit worse than cheating, okay? Yeah, my wife cheated on me. It's really bad. I'm sorry. What did you do about it? I killed her. And then they kick off. Come on, have some sympathy. She cheated on me. Oh my God. Anyway, come on, let's continue.
When a man cheats, people in droves will say, "How horrible! Monster! How could anyone do that?" But when a woman cheats, other women are like, "Well, he was probably abusive, or he was ugly. He deserved it."
There's no legal basis for the protocol of women and children first in international maritime law. Women and children first is a code of conduct dating from 1852, whereby the lives of women and children were to be saved first in a life-threatening situation, typically abandoning ship when survival resources such as lifeboats were limited. So it's not even in the law.
You see the double standard? That's the world we're living in. So no, I don't find it surprising that these things are happening. Men are single because because of Tinder, because of hookup culture, because of...
Wait, that's a really good point. What would he say if a man cheated on his wife and she murdered him? Probably exactly the opposite of what he's saying here, right? Okay, here's the real truth about in that situation. The oldest people basically the youngest people should go first, okay? Because the older people have lived their life. The younger people, regardless of gender, they should be the ones that go first, right? Forget this men and women first, the women and children first nonsense, right? The younger you are, the further at front of the queue you are, right? If you're 90 and you have a shipwreck, I'm sorry, Grandad, but you've had your life, okay? You can go down listening to the band playing. We're getting on this lifeboat, okay? I'm sorry, that's the way to deal with it. Yeah, you're going to get more years of life preserved out of that. Who is more deserving of life? Is it an 18-year-old man, or a 90-year-old woman? I would say the 18-year-old man, because he's got more of a chance of life. He's going to live for longer. The woman division was because the women were expected to care for the children. That's true equality, okay? Ageism is the only answer.
Feminism. Women think that they all deserve a Chad. They all deserve the top 20% of men, and they refuse to settle for less because of years of feminist programming telling them that you deserve the best of the best and you should never settle for a good, decent, average man because you're a average woman. That's the reality of it.
Well, Wendell, that solves the issue as well. You don't have to worry about the gender issue, and NB people either. If an NB's younger, they get on the lifeboat. If they're older, they stay. Simple. Done.
Reality of it. Average women going after men that are arguably better than them, but refusing to date people who are just as good as them. And a lot of times, these average guys are actually very good catches. Average guy, average job, responsible, not a Chad, but not a incel either. And they still will not settle for it, to their own detriment. Because a lot of these women, they're not going to get the Chad. Chad doesn't want them. Chad has Stacy. So, in the end, you're just going to lose. You'd end up alone with 20 cats. No children, no grandchildren, alone. I love how they say that inequality is going to get worse, and how women are going to want to go back to traditional gender roles. They say, throughout evolutionary history, a woman's reproductive fitness hinged on the success of each individual offspring to a greater extent than a man's, they wrote. Women evolved stronger motivations to attend to the details of childcare and may feel pressured to accept more childcare and homemaking responsibility when others, such as teachers and childcare workers, cannot. It's got a picture of a classic nuclear family. Mom, father, daughter, son, full food table, house. A beautiful thing. That's literally all I want in life. I want a nuclear family. But that's what society and the feminists are telling us, that men don't deserve, because it's patriarchy. So cheat on your husband, divorce him, take all his stuff. I've got proof that men are demonized. I want to show you this. We have to erase men.
I've got proof that men are demonized. What have I got for you? A scientifically backed study. Yeah? A sociologist fucking writing some shit. No, I've got another Daily Mail article for you. The proof that men are demonized. Another Daily Mail article. Right? Based on some lesbian author writing a book.
Lesbian author who urges women to eradicate men from their lives racks up 5-star reviews on Amazon. But some argue it's a form of apartheid. So we have a best-selling book, apparently, by a lesbian author who says that we have to erase men from our minds. Because men are horrible, men suck, blah, blah, blah. We've heard it all. You're going to tell me that society isn't celebrating the destruction of men? And here's the irony.
Okay, look. Listen, I know I've been talking a bit about... I've been playing into the MRA memes a bit recently, but like, society isn't destroying men uniquely. Society's destroying everyone, okay? This is my issue with it, is these could all be like legitimate critiques of like things, but it's always having to make these people engage in identity reductionism all of the time. Coach Red Pill did it as well. Coach Red Pill was speaking about a bunch of issues that affect lots of different types of people equally, right? But he made it about men, and it wasn't even about men. These people all engage in this shit. Just as bad as the fucking lib shits do. Just as bad as the liberal feminists that they criticise, who will sometimes make gendered issues that actually can affect other people, right? Thanks, Sorrel. You're a legend. People don't understand class is a fundamental part of any identity. True, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah? And whilst I think it's important to recognise, of course, the unique struggles that are faced by people based on their identity, right? Class intersects with everything all of the time, constantly. And it's important to talk about that, right? And the issue that I have with this identity reductionism from the liberals, from the conservatives, whatever it is it does obfuscate actual class analysis, you know? Yeah? Let's talk about all of it. Right, the superstructural cause, but that doesn't get views and likes, which is the real meaning behind culture wars. It's the medium, not the message. Yeah, that's true. Hey!
At Actual Jake and at Hannah Reloaded said this place was cool. Is this place cool?
Hey, Windchanter. Yeah, thank you very much for the recommendation from Actual Jake and Hannah Reloaded. I mean, look, I think this place is cool. Yeah, what's this about, Zarel? There's no such thing as a class reductionism. There's such thing as race reductionism. So, in fact, I'll address that after, okay?
Irony. Here is the great irony. This is the author. Let me ask you a question, and I don't mean this in a bad way. I mean this in a reasonable, rational way. If she is so anti-man, why is she dressing as a man? I don't understand it. She goes on to say that we have to erase them from our minds, from our pictures, from our representation. I don't read books by men anymore. I don't watch their movies. I don't listen to their music, she writes. She doesn't listen to men at all. And yet, how does she choose to dress as a man? There's some deep, twisted problem in there. I can't tell you what it is.
She's just presenting in a set. Yeah, clothes are gendered. Yeah, there's a lot of fragile masculinity going on.
But in my opinion, as someone who is somewhat of an expert on human psychology, this person is unwell, and probably needs to seek professional help. I mean this in the nicest of ways. And, you know, the comments are hilarious. People are...
I mean, she obviously is just, like, making some radical, you know, statement about... I don't really care about stuff like this. I don't really care about some woman doing, like, whatever. Look, I'm big enough and ugly enough that I can take this, okay? It's all good. Armchair psychologist, more like. I'll take it. I'll take the hit for you, okay, men? Listen, men, I'll fucking take this on the chin, okay? Because I can do it if you can't. Don't worry. Political lesbian hasn't done relevant since Andy Warhol died.
Are basically being very red-pilled. UKIP 1707 says, a worldwide social experiment by the elite that control the world's money. Many of us have been saying it for weeks. Okay, Richard Head 69 says, quote, women will sexualize themselves more. How?
Wait, where's
everyone and their daughter.
Okay, what's this? Right, Zarel legendarily says, in her book, she argues that a hard stance needs to be taken following women being erased from history over the centuries and the media constantly objectifying women. She points to the lack of monuments of women in society as long-standing proof that women are not celebrated in society. Yeah. It's just, you know, it's just cultural stuff. I don't even have a problem with it. Like, whatever. If she wants to make some protest about that fact, I mean, it's to raise awareness of it, right? Oh my god, these people are so sensitive.
He has an OnlyFans account. I mean, imagine that. I find OnlyFans absolutely abhorrent. Absolutely abhorrent. I don't care how much money it makes. I would never, ever date someone who had an OnlyFans account or let my partner
it's like a protest,
have
yeah.
one. I mean, I guess if it's like an exhibition sort of thing, both parties consent, I could see that, but no. No, I don't think so. Okay. Nobody wants to see me. And I sure as hell don't want anyone to see my partner. So there it is. And, Sensible Steve says it best. Women sexualize more.
Steve.
They're practically at maximum now. Birth rate to lower. Not with unrestrained immigration.
Oh,
it won't. So
Sensible Steve with the white nationalist talking points. Who would have thought someone called Sensible Steve would come in hot? Sensible Steve says it best. Oh my god. Oh. Daily Mail commenters are the literal worst specimens of humanity. That's so true.
A lot of problems here. And who's going to be the loser? My generation will. Millennials and Generation Z, also known as Zoomers, they're going to be the most roughed up generations. I've had to deal with it. Dating as a millennial, for the most part, has been an absolute nightmare. I mean, how many women can you find these days that are traditional? Let's put it that way, that are traditional and conservative. It seems hard. It really does. But more than that, I believe these researchers are right, but for the wrong reasons. It's not COVID-19. It's our society. That is our culture, our Western culture that is degrading because of woke ideology, because of feminism, and because of progressive ideology. Going back to social conservatism is the answer. No more OnlyFans, no more incels, no more. That is the solution. And yet, I don't know if people understand that.
Wait, so he wants to go back to social conservatism. When you say no more incels, what does that mean? What does no more incels mean? Yeah, are we talking about state enforced oh god, this is getting a bit oh god, I feel sick.
But that is the case, folks. That will fix things. We need people to start dating again. We need people to stop divorcing. We need to make it work, because this can only hurt everyone involved. But that, my friends, is merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. Let me know what you think about this story. A little bit different, but I basically talk about whatever I find interesting or relevant on this channel, and let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. As always, if you want to support the channel, you can join me on Patreon or Subscribestar. If you want to...
There we go, Mr. Obvious. State-funded dogging! That was a roller coaster. We went all over the place with that one. I literally thought it would just be memes about, like, you know, Western society, OnlyFans stuff. We went off in all sorts of different directions. And then he ended up defending someone that murdered his wife. Very strange. Damn. That was yikes. Anyway, there we go. There's Mr. Obvious. Once again, proving that these dipshits can't read properly, throw up a headline and make the whole video about it. Ridiculous. I hope you enjoyed that journey. I enjoyed it too. There we go. We'll do it again. So we'll do another Mr. Obvious video again soon, okay?